another stream where we have some interesting and, let's say, a lot of recent news. And about 18, as you can probably see on screen, quite, let's do a quick zoom in, with some quite high definition pictures, courtesy of Kyle. So, again, thank you. But firstly, go.
Hi everybody. It's very interesting pictures. Nice to be here. Looking forward to the discussion.
I think
Indeed.
Ken's introductions are
Also,
like on a whole new level.
oh
Thing
yeah,
of
really
thing of beauty.
enthusiastic. Then we Lakitia, hello.
Hello, fellowship. Great to be back. This is a really big bunch of pictures that we got. So, finally.
Indeed, there is a lot. And also, welcome for the first time, Jaron. Hello, welcome.
Hey, it's nice to be here. I'm excited to look at all these. It's going to be interesting trying to not go on forever. There's a lot of stuff all at once. But no, I'm glad to be here, guys.
Cool. And if for some people who might not know who you are, etc., what podcast you want, if you want to say that right now, go for it.
Introduce sure. I host that. You're talking about me? Yeah. Yep. I host the Halfling. The Halfling, you can look it up on all the major streams. I like to break down. So I write for Looper. I'm one of the main Tolkien writers there, but the Halfling is where I get to kind of go and dig in really deep. And I've been having a lot of fun in the lead up to the show, just picking out characters who could be in the show, how they could be handled. I'm about to release a series on Bree and just how it technically shouldn't be there, but how much it could influence Harfoots and all that kind of stuff. So, or early ages of men, that kind of thing. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'd love it if you joined.
Indeed. And his link's in the description below, so you want to go and check that out. Good stuff. And also, never forget, hello to everyone in the chat as well. Mojo Dojo, Runkies, Banka, sorry for pronunciations, Nerdurings. He's in the chat. Hello as well. Oh, we got Siga Boy saying hey to Lakitia, and yeah, hi to everyone. So, I think where we have to get started with the first one, and again, look how I feel like a little kid right now. Just got some toys. Cause look what I can do. We can see the eyes of the but I don't think people want to spend too long on this, because you've seen this thing quite a lot.
Yeah.
What's everyone's initiative? Do you want to just Lakitia? What do you think?
I still quite like the troll. Like I've said before, I would prefer him to look a little bit more humanoid, but I like it, and I like the quality of this shot. In particular, I think it's a really good sign. The CGI has been improved significantly. I think it's a sign of great things to come in that aspect. I can't be too positive because people are going to call me a shill again. So, I have to dish some dirt too.
Yeah, welcome to that world. And Jaron, can you guys generally agree with that?
Yeah, I like the appendices comes to mind where the trolls are pretty vague the way they're described. So I'm okay with some room for interpretation. I do like I think this is one of the big areas that got criticized for CGI. So I agree that looks cleaned up quite a bit, and I'm happy to see that for sure.
Indeed, and I'm sure same things as before. And I think
as
people said in chat, we want to get on to the Lindon.
I'm not in interest. Just I think the audience would be relieved to know that I'm not in the interest of recycling too many of my usual talking points. You already all know them. There's really no point in it. Yeah.
Indeed. I'm just waiting for this load. But in the meantime, I think one thing that we always have to I think we're not going through the comments bomb the show one is today. I think we will be doing that in an upcoming stream.
Yeah.
So that should be good. Well, sorry, just little technical difficulties waiting for this to load.
I do wonder in the meanwhile just how this will look with motion blur, because of course, this is a still, so you wonder. Yeah.
I think we won't even notice. So.
And
Yeah,
Interestingly, Ken, someone said in chat, Sigaboy said, maybe is this too high fantasy? Do you want to go over?
It is.
That?
That's the point that I usually make. It's not a flat humanoid face. The eyes are basically almost on the scalp. They're very far apart. The not fangs so much, kind of tusks. The beard. It's very high fantasy. On the one hand, the bad guys kind of invite this more heightened, high fantasy kind of design. Not a big fan.
We kind of lost the image there.
Yep. I'm just getting it.
Yeah, we did.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, and
I do agree
they're so high. Sorry, they're so high quality that what's it called? It's thing, but it should. Sorry, Jaron, I interrupted you.
No, it's fine. I agree that like I said, I think that there's room to come up with a lot of different looking trolls, and we've seen them over the years. But I do agree that you hope for something that's pretty recognizable. Like that's a troll, that's like you said, humanoid. So it'll be interesting to see if we get a lot of that creature and if we can really kind of break it down what they did with it for sure. Here we got one though.
We got and Lakita, to see who this is holding Dylan Smith's hand.
Yes, this is absolutely, first of all, it's absolutely fantastic to finally learn who Dylan Smith is playing. I know that we've been speculating for a while that maybe he's a member of the community in which Bronwyn and her son Theo live, but as it turns out, he's apparently a hobbit. So, and the person he's holding by the hand is, Bo.
Is it Bo?
I lost it there. Yeah, it's Bo Cassidy.
Yeah, Bo
there
Cassidy.
We go. Wow, it's really late here. I mean, it's not, but let's say it's late. Bo Cassidy. So I know that a lot of people have been, me included, have been speculating that maybe she's Celebrimbor, but clearly not. Clearly, she's a young hobbit, and by the looks of it, I would say that it's possible that she's the daughter of Dylan Smith's character Largo, and also that would make her the sister of Markella Kavanagh's character, which is Nori. So I think
we knew from the audition. Yeah, we knew from the auditions that this character has a son, daughter, and we knew that he was ailing. So yeah, it makes sense.
I mean, I think he has several kids, and the eldest daughter causes them a lot of trouble because she's very inquisitive, etc. So I suppose that's Nori. And I think this is the other kid. And from Nori's audition tapes, by the code name of Tyra, we know that she also has a younger sister or something like that. So I think it all checks out.
Yeah, I think the fact that she is so small and just the perspective of the shot made him seem not very Hobbit-like. And people were like, at a glance, like, is that Meteor Man? And no, it's not. He's a hobbit. He has hobbit feet. He just looks big because he's A, in the foreground, and B, next to a little kid. So,
Yeah. Also, I just have to point out, we still don't have hobbits we still have very skinny hobbits.
That's kind of fitting for their lifestyle, because these are not domesticated Edwardian hobbits who just like make and eat food all day, but these are traveling hobbits.
Yeah. So. We finally found the appropriate context for Peter Jackson's hobbits.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Interesting. But I think people want us to maybe move on from this for a bit, so we have Elrond here. So Jaron, first thoughts on this? This is one of the better ones in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this. I don't want to drag the text in, but it did mention something about his age, I think, or because I've been trying to figure out, because he's like 60 years old when the second age starts, and then he's like 1,000 years. Like depending on where you're looking at it, his age is a big factor here on his maturity level, and in the nature of Middle Earth, it breaks that down, and he could be acting like a teenager for all we know. And this shot looks kind of more regal. A lot of the stuff we've been seeing here and there does not come across that way. So this is very interesting. It doesn't tell us much in the picture, but I'm very excited to see where they go with it.
One thing that I did notice is his costume. He's wearing the same costume as he was wearing in the trailer, if I'm not mistaken, with the little floppy thing here that kind of reminded people of Elwing's wings or maybe something like that. So it's the same costume that he's wearing in Khazad-dûm, which makes me wonder, where is he? Because the place he's at does not look like Khazad-dûm to me, because it has like a window that's apparently looking straight outside, which makes me wonder, could this possibly potentially be Eregion?
I was thinking that exactly, yeah. Yeah, because it does look like the same kind of thing as in the background of the shot of Celebrimbor, which I guess we'll get to, which is it's not Moria, but it's very constructed.
Yeah. And I just want to say one thing. Somebody in the chat by the name of Kyle Richard says this does feel more Elrond than previous images. Well, you're just wrong, but that's just because you're always wrong. So there's that. We can move on now.
Can you zoom in on right under the, like on his chest there? Is that an image of something, or is that just distortion? Almost looks like
I think
wind
it's distortion.
He could be, or
there's
maybe
something there though.
Yeah.
It looks kind of. It reminded me. I was thinking about it. Doesn't look like armor, but if it was, I would say it looks like a little bit like Arondir's, which is that it looks like wood, but it isn't. It looks like cloth.
It's like almost like smoke, or maybe it's a Superman symbol. It's really interesting.
Brilliant. Everybody's in the chat says that he's in Lindon. Yeah, could be Lindon, of course.
He could be leaving, right? He's supposed to be.
I think we get to Lindon because this doesn't strike me as being Lindon, but we'll get to it because there are more pictures of it.
Right.
We'll see. I think Fellowship is anxious to move on, so.
Yeah. That's Moria, right?
I don't know. I'm not 100% sure, actually. And that's because of another picture that we'll see, in which we see Durin in another environment.
Okay.
I think the light looks very soft, and I don't know. I'm not getting the Moria vibes necessarily.
Yeah, it's a little more orange, I think, than the picture you're referencing, but it does look like it could be in either place.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure. I do think the shots that we did see in Moria were of torchlight, quite orangey. So I think it does work. But we'll see it.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, it's the golden hue is present here as well. I just want to say that I love the dynamic that we've seen from the image of these two. They look so intense. They look so loving, and I'm all here for it. I absolutely love it.
The chemistry seems like it's there.
Yeah, it looks tangible.
Yeah, I try not to judge those sorts of things from a still, but yeah, sure.
That's true.
Sure. His beard, I think, is like, he said he's free here because it's usually very stylized, you know? Oh, look.
We've seen this before, right?
Yeah, that looks like Lindon or something, all right?
Yeah, for sure.
We've talked about this in length, this one. Yeah. I still like it a lot.
We've talked about it in length, but we didn't have it high res last time. Now let's, with me my little toolkit, that we can finally... Can we go for it?
I did, right after we finished talking about it, I did notice that there is nice kind of leaf-like pattern work on the columns that make up the tower. So yeah, that's very... other than that, I've said what I have to say about it, really.
I really can't... I get the Mordor Mountains thing, but I can't think geographically, unless it's in the Morgul Vale. I don't get the mountains on the left, which makes me just want, and it's very green, and I'm just very curious where this is.
There's a nice joke going around on Reddit, which is that it's before Door, which I find quite funny.
Yes, that would explain the green for sure.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's nice.
Yeah, it looks great. I like it.
I think we saw it already, and people want us to get. We've seen this already.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is I think where people have come for. We'll start off with him up here. So, I personally think it's from all of these so far. And it seems to be like a lot. Actually, I think Likit, you have some reasons. It'd be quite interesting to hear that as well.
Yeah. I do, and especially I'm a little bit surprised that I do, because he's my at this point I think he's the character I'm most looking forward to seeing. Sorry, Celebrimbor. He's portrayed by an actor that I absolutely love, and the image that we saw before I absolutely love as well. This one, however, can you zoom out a little bit, Fellowship, please?
Sorry.
I think, no worries. I think it looks a little bit too intense. What it reminded me of at first is like a glam rock singer. He
Oh, thank you.
just all the gold is just shining. I don't like his costumes at all, neither this one nor the other one we see him in.
Mm,
I don't like the wreath at all. The red just seems, it's too intense for me. It's got that very, very specific Roman emperor vibe, which many people called out on. I agree. I don't necessarily like that aesthetic for the elves. Um, but Mr. Benjamin Walker himself looks mighty fine. So, and
He does
another
look good
thing
in
I'm
it.
not a big fan of is the wig. It looks off to me. I don't know.
hmm.
Hmm.
Oh,
But
I've heard you say that
Jaron,
before, actually. Yeah, sure.
yeah, Jaron, do you have any maybe similar or opposing beliefs
Yeah,
about
I
Gil-galad?
think definitely see the Roman. I think if you took the gold costume away, like if you replace it with something like what Elrond wears, I think that the
Mhm.
crown would fit a lot better because it would
Yeah,
just make him
I
stand out
agree.
as someone unique. But yeah, it is a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, most of his
Hmm.
costumes are very, very, very gold.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
wonder if they'll tune down the, the yellow in the grading. Maybe it will make it look more palatable. But I do agree that his costumes thus far have been very ostentatious looking, a little bit too much. Otherwise, I like it. I think
Hmm.
I like intensity in characters in general, so I'm fine with
Yeah.
it. And I
The
do,
Galad.
yeah, and I do like generally the we'll get to it I think more with some of the other images, but the very kind of fancy, rarefied, pre-Raphaelite kind of imagery I
Mhm.
find very over time, having kind of looked at it more and more, I kind of find it very appealing.
Can I
And
just say
one
something
thing,
that I'm? Mhm. Go ahead.
I'll just quickly say, in all the pictures we've seen so far, his stare has been really, really menacing. And I think hopefully that gives that
Yeah.
gravitas to his role as
Mhm.
well.
Mhm.
So yeah, but yeah, continue.
I just want to say that I'm absolutely rejoiced by the reception that this Gil-galad has received. A lot of people, like Nerd of the Rings in the chat, said that he agreed with me. This was the character he was looking forward to the most. People absolutely love this image and loved his appearance on all the recently released images, and I'm all like down for that. It's amazing. So much love for
Hmm.
him. So that's
Yeah,
really
It's
nice to
nice
hear.
to see
And
some
also,
positivity.
people
yeah.
people have been calling him Gil-galad, which I also appreciate quite a lot.
Hmm. And once said, the "Who's my canonical daddy's" debate. All I say be really interesting if it's Orodreth. That'd be really, really interesting. But
No, for
I
a moment
think
I thought we were speaking of
Do,
something else.
do you
Sorry.
think
no.
you're talking about his father?
I
Yeah, oh, Gil-galad, Gil-galad.
Yeah. Do you think
Yeah.
they'll pick something?
I hope maybe Orodreth, but I'm not too sure. But
I
I
don't
I
think
could
they
maybe
see
that's
them
will.
for another
picking on it.
time.
I
yeah, I
think
don't
they'll
think.
avoid talking about it
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
all.
Avoid
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about maybe future seasons would be interesting. But
Nah, I don't
Can I
see it, but sure.
can I just say
so
something else just before we move on? This is just I just want to ask our audience to please be kind in the chat. I know there are some images that you won't like and some people you don't like. Just let's all just please stay kind, and it's absolutely okay to say that you don't like something. Just don't call people names, please.
Yeah.
That's
Don't
all.
call me a name, please.
Okay, we'll just call
All
you
right.
that guy there.
There we go.
yeah,
All
and
right.
looks like we've got the one which one of the first ones that we had leaked earlier on, and I think the first thing you guys are going to talk about, I wonder what they are looking at, or from the
Yeah, I
Mhm.
sky.
wonder that too. Yeah. Oh.
There we go.
Hmm.
That's a good shot. And
And
I
not
think,
everybody's eyes are on the same level. That's something that I found really interesting. Like, I think Theo's gaze is a little bit lower than, for instance, Bronwyn's gaze.
hmm,
And
I
the
mean
guy
that's
the guy
yeah.
behind Theo is looking further up. So I think it's something big that they're looking at.
I think it's just practicalities of on the set. Kind of director says, "Look up." Not all,
hmm,
up for all people is not the same up. But yeah.
No, but they normally give you something to look at.
Yeah, still, but the one, it's
I
just the
don't know. I think
practicality.
I would think that this it's not a huge thing, of course, but I think there must be a reason for it. Whether, I don't know, I imagine maybe it's like a building burning or something, and obviously not everybody's going to be staring
that
at the
sort
same
of thing.
spot.
Yeah.
And we were debating whether this might be Kip Chapman and that's Maxine Conliffe, which would be quite interesting as well. But yeah,
not
continue,
Kip
Jared.
Chapman.
Oh, not Kip
Chapman.
Chapman.
Yeah.
Peter Tate.
No.
It was
Peter Tate.
Peter Tate. Yeah.
Somebody had mentioned in the chat somewhere, a comment somewhere about if he's. It sounded, or maybe it was in the post that he's holding the broken sword. Is that true, or are we just guessing?
Yes, he is.
We can zoom in on that.
You can see that very kind of saber-like shape that the sword has in pictures in his hand. It looks smaller in his hand, which is to be expected because it's not Theo holding it, who's 14. Even though he's quite tall in this picture.
That is clearly a centerpiece here, or something.
Yeah, but we don't. Yeah, we have no idea what it is really.
Yeah.
Priscilla TV in the chat has brought up a very, very relevant point, and something I think we can all agree on. Arondir is hot. Yes, this is objectively true. I agree.
There we go. Look at it.
Okay.
There we go.
Does it for you? Sure.
The armor thing too. This was probably talked about, but is that really just Elvish or is that an Ent? I can't get over that one because there's no. It's all leaves. Like the face is.
I think it's supposed to be one of the Valar.
It's even a bit.
Okay, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because he's the hunter and everything. I mean, the hunter. He's a bowman at any rate.
Yeah.
Very, very woodlandish though. So for being very Southlands, right? They got to find.
Yeah, but he's a woodland elf, so it makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, Nori.
I love this picture.
This was the same thing.
Yeah.
That was in Lenny Henry's hand.
That's right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love this. I love this picture so much. I think it's beautifully lit. She looks really curious, and I just love it. I love the woodland surroundings and everything. And is that supposed to be like a pine cone to the left?
I know. I noticed that. It's huge.
It's scaled up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this.
It's a big pine cone for a small person.
Yeah. We've seen a lot
really
of prop scaled up, like mushrooms and berries and stuff, so it makes sense. Yeah. And there's a lot of it looks almost like egg dripping over a lot of this. I mean, it's just aging, dressing it up. But yeah, I'm assuming it's one of the cards that we saw in the previous picture.
Yeah.
It's nice to see the things in the hair as well. It's very nice.
I don't like it. That's something that I really vehemently dislike.
A lot of stuff in their hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's too messy.
It
looks very Radagast-like, in my opinion, which is not something that I wanted to see.
So, question on that, because when we saw him, he's at Roscoble, right? I think he's there during the Hobbit, or he was there.
Yeah, in Roscoble, yeah.
And they originate from, like the when Sauron arrives or starts to resurface in the Third Age, they move away from Mirkwood. So are we in Mirkwood here?
Yeah. We should be around because we know the Hobbit stuff takes place in the east,
right?
And we assume that it would be around the vicinity of Mirkwood kind of type environment. Yeah, in the Wilderland. Yeah.
Yep. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody, please like and subscribe if you have not already. Just show a little support. We'll be super, super grateful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This is where I was all of these shots are in the woods. It's very, very wood heavy.
The Hobbits ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I have 2 comments on this one. The first one is something that I saw a lot of other people bring up as well. This gives me very much the Midsummer vibes. And
also Wicker Man.
Yeah, the Wicker Man as well. Unfortunately, there's no Sir Christopher Lee anywhere to be seen. But another thing that came to my mind and that I really don't like is the way the shot is lit with the really, really strong yellow light coming from behind. This really gives me very strong The Witcher vibes from Brokilon Forest, which was my least favorite lighting decision out of any TV show that I've ever seen, probably. So I really hope that it's just a really weird picture and that the light that we'll be seeing in this show will be much more natural looking than this.
Yeah, sure. It's strong.
The lamps, though, somebody had commented on Twitter about the lamps, and here in the other pictures, they look really, really cool. I don't know. It seemed like somebody must have been on. They said they had somebody on the set for like dust and stuff. It looks like they hired someone for lamps too, because they're all unique and cool, and I'm digging it.
I know someone here doesn't. But...
No, but we'll come to that later on.
It's not me, but we'll get to it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, sure. Is that, I have to say, is Lenny Henry holding a Warhammer there? Because that looks like it'll do a number on you. It does.
There's something specific. It's not just a walking stick.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get the
It looks constructed, like it has a peg in it or something.
Yeah. You naturally want these things to look kind of handcrafted in a way. Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
But the attention to detail in this shot is beautiful. There are so many.
Yeah, in a lot of them.
The sets look very, very detailed. Yeah, in a lot of them, I agree. So even though I may not agree with all their decisions, I think they did a good job. Yeah.
Looks like a companion of the shot.
Oops, I've done my mute thing again. I've done the thing where I've been on mute for 5 minutes. But, I am back. I was saying, do you guys... I actually made a funny joke, and no one laughed at it. It's when Jaron said they probably got people to do the lamps, and I said they probably got the Mothman. I was really sad that nobody laughed at my joke. But I can feel relieved now that it was because I was on mute. But what I was thinking, is this the same clip from the trailer, do you think?
I think so, yes.
Doing
the color is the same.
Acrobatics.
Yeah.
He's saving Leo from something?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
My own thinking of it, you'll remember that I built... Yeah.
Just one quick before we forget. Fellowship, do you want to talk a little bit about what's happening tomorrow on our channel?
What's happening tomorrow?
What's happening tomorrow?
Oh yes, yeah. We're doing a live stream where we could talk about talking to the showrunners. Everybody got Slack on. You're saying all this stuff. They're so good, but you can't remember what they're saying, all that crap. So we'll be able to actually talk about. So yeah, really interesting things, and actually I think it's quite interesting for people to find out what my action was like, because I know you're seeing all these nice people, go and all of these content creators go talk to them, but then you've got me. I'll tell you about the story now, but I spent 40 minutes. It's like the cocktail hour was about an hour something. I spent 40 minutes just on the side, like, do I go? And then pluck the courage, and it was an amazing thing. We have to stay tuned to tomorrow to find out that story and all the other stuff. Like who that Numenor statue thing is. We go into the next one. Hope I advertise that well. This will be a good one to zoom in on.
He's not in his usual gear here, is he?
No, he isn't. Do you think this might be when he's captured?
Or maybe it could be. I'm assuming more like afterwards in Bronwyn's village, getting some local gear and preparing.
Someone said
that looks pretty rough.
Yeah, he looks in this compared to the thing. Maybe some like, and of course, elves. The aging is quite hard to. Actually, we'll get onto that later. But sorry, go on.
Oh, just the shirt cut off and stuff. It looks like he might have just gotten out of whatever he's breaking out of in that shot in the trailer.
Exactly.
Oh,
and it seems like a lot of these are linked to stuff we saw in the trailer. So
he has a quiver though.
That's true. Or a sheath, right?
Yeah,
and it doesn't look like something you'd steal from an orc or something. So that is, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the sword does look like, interestingly enough, like something you'd steal from an orc, but yeah.
Does it? It looks very elegant.
No, it is.
It's kind of, I see the elegance of it. It's kind of, halfway in the middle.
Mojo Dojo says,
I don't know which one's the next one. So continue.
Mojo Dojo says in the chat, love Ismael Cruz Cordova as Arondir. absolutely agree, surprisingly enough. This is a gorgeous image. This is one of my favorites.
This is the one that I think I was going on Twitter, just scrolling through it. Someone replied and just dropped this. And this was like the day before thinking. I was like, what is this true? And it's like this great. This is Galadriel, but I don't know. And if you guys don't remember from one of our leaks, we said this is a crown ceremony thing from Second Age shows where they're going west, some of them. So that's very interesting. But people love this one the most, didn't they? It is beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah. Do we have any idea who all these people are kneeling?
We do have an idea about one of the actors.
I can't spot him.
You mean Morfydd Clark, right?
No, I mean to the left of Morfydd. I mean besides Morfydd Clark and
okay.
Ben Walker. Stop laughing. No, I actually meant the one to the left, which is I think Fabian McCallum. Yeah, that's the one. Right on the left.
Nosy Parker said on chat ratio is 2:39:1, which means it's coming to theaters, which is a very. But
Ken, do you want to talk a little bit about it?
About what?
Apparently
about the ratio.
The ratio of the aspect ratio. Yeah, it's in a cinematic widescreen ratio, 2:39:1. So yeah, I'm not sure what it means really. You can see shows on TV sometimes adopt that in order to see more cinematic. I think that's more to the point of what's going on here than necessarily having it play in theaters. It's cropped anyway, so it can be really any aspect ratio they want. Yeah. I do like the look of this image very. Yeah. Big nose.
And background. Look, even back here.
This it took me a while, but this is from across because we saw that picture from above, didn't we? And that piece of land there is from across the bay. And I really like that image. I like it's very very romanticized.
I agree.
Speaking of stuff that's maybe less romanticized,
next one we have probably the most and probably the most controversial one of today is
I don't mind it, by the way.
This one actually got really, I think what's it called? So I've known, sure you guys probably know that I've known since like February that Celebrimbor has short hair, so this wasn't really a surprise to me. But the reactions are understandable, I suppose. Like seeing this for the first time. I think
stop showing off. I think
I'm saying he looks ugly.
No, I think we've all seen the reaction online. I think a lot of people have had their mental image of Celebrimbor be done by Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War. I think that's influenced a lot of their preferences. Mostly, I think it's a slightly unusual choice. At any rate, Charles Edwards is a little bit older than any other actors that previously portrayed any of the elves, at least for the first time. Because I believe that Hugo Weaving was about his age when he appeared in The Hobbit. Certainly, he looks a little bit more mature than what we're used to. But for me, this image is still a total win. I absolutely love the surroundings. This looks like a sort of a library or something, perhaps. I think this might be somewhere in Lindon. And now that I think of it, actually, the wall here reminds me of the wall that Elrond was standing next to. So that could point to the direction of that being in Lindon as well. But
unless
all in all,
he's stopping off at Austin Hill on the way to Khazad-dûm.
If it's already established, which I don't think it is. But yeah,
really?
I think it would because
I think you would
in the context of a show.
Yeah.
I don't think
it is. To develop cities in a condensed timeline, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that is true. But I do think there might be like potentially a little bit of a time jump somewhere in there, and of course, it is a condensed timeline, but that doesn't mean everything happens the same year. So a city can be built within a few decades.
No, but I don't
the
think even a
the
decade will pass. I don't think even like 8 years would pass because like you wouldn't want Bronwyn to start looking really old. You wouldn't want
of
Theo
course,
to be
yeah,
recast.
that is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
But it
But
could be
if
a flashback too.
I think it could be a flashback, and the reason why I think Eregion hasn't been established yet and Austin Ethel is because in the hand poster, Celebrimbor is holding a scroll which says, I think, Austin Ethel or Eregion King Square view from the south.
Yes.
So I think that might be. I've been theorizing about this for ages now. I think that might be a plan by Elrond, who's apparently going to be an architect, and they're gonna be constructing the city then and there. But of course, it's also possible, and I think I would actually prefer it in a way if Austin Ethel and Region were established as we go into this show. But I think it's a big possibility that we will see Celebrimbor, go separate ways from Gil-galad and establish his own realm. I'm sorry,
So
I was a little bit long-winded.
Yeah.
We can move on now.
I
that
think
means
there
we
are
could
two-
possibly see that could possibly see that means we see the build fall of Austin Hill, then the build of Lindon, and then the build of Rivendell in Mladris in one show. That'd be really condensed.
That's a lot, though. Yeah.
I think we should keep in mind two things, which would be the architectural style, and the other thing is that lamp, and see if that carries over to one of the other shots that we have coming.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
The one thing I'll say with
let's see.
I like the adaptation stuff, so I'm adjusting to the younger version or the older version. So I definitely the age is the one thing that I'm having a little trouble with, but it's fun to think of him as a more of a bookish. I mean, it looks almost like a bookshelf in the back there, and as if he's kind of weighed down with his knowledge of how dangerous this is, and then he ends up making rings versus, hey, I love Smithcraft so much, I just want to explore it forever. And sure, if you have knowledge, I'll make rings, which was kind of especially when he ends being grappled on steps. That reminds me of like Huron and Turin. Like those are the kind of epic pictures I had. So to kind of challenge it with something like this is fun. It's fun. It's going to be fun to see where they go with it.
Yeah. That is true. They could go so many different ways with this character in and of itself, and it's going to be really interesting to see which way they chose to go. And I'm sure that's going to cause a lot of controversy as well.
Yeah. What, Fellowship, what are you? I feel like he's muted again.
Huh?
No.
No, he isn't. Oh, good, more fawns.
I'm here.
So much in the hair.
There are fawns in this shot, really.
Yeah, they're fawns. First of all, I really, really, really don't like the thorough makeover that Markella's picture went through here. She's like really, really
she
heavily...
looked unrecognizable in the trailer.
But here, no, this image just airbrushed her to unrecognizable degrees, and they colored her eyes a different way. I just don't like that, and it's very different from other pictures of her character that we've seen so far. So I just don't like. It's too airbrushed for my taste. But otherwise, I love the vibes. I love the energy.
Indeed. And Steve Sadler, again, thank you, brother, for the donation. He said, I really hope you get to see Gil-galad slam the door in the face of Anatar a la Feanor Melkor. Ooh, that'd be a nice, interesting parallel.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting if we even get to see mention of Melkor anyway. So yeah, interesting thought. Thanks for the contribution. And people thought this was Meteor Man, but it's actually, in fact, Mr.
Yeah, again, he looks a bit tall. So yeah.
Yeah, he looks really tall too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then again, I think the ladies are supposed to be young hobbits, and he's male, so he would naturally be a little bit taller.
Yeah, that's also true. Yeah.
He's not 6'3" like Lenny Henry.
Sure.
Yeah.
Which I was wondering is John Rhys Davies.
Very interesting.
John Rhys Davies, the dwarves were often quite tall, but if you look at the hobbits weren't generally. The hobbits were quite compact.
Right.
Oh look.
So
it's Jesus.
Halbrand, Jesus. But the thing I'm interested with Halbrand, my theory has always been that we're going to see this guy first when he's on that raft with we're not going to see his backstory in his village. In fact, these are all from the first episodes, most likely. It must mean that we're going to see him at his village. If you interestingly notice, there's a little
I think
scar
that's
there
Numenor,
as
but
well.
okay.
You think
Yeah, I
that's
think the
Numenor?
scar is the interesting thing, and the other interesting thing is the little thing on his shirt.
Yes. Yeah. The sun.
Can you go?
Yeah.
The sun. Can you go down
It's
a little bit because it's the
Numenorean
same?
symbol.
Yeah, it's the same symbol that appears on Elendil's sword.
Yeah.
So this
But it
might
is
be when he's
Numenor
already in Numenor.
I
Maybe.
think it's
I think so
definitely in
too.
Numenor.
Yeah.
It's
Or
very
maybe he's got
difficult
new
to tell,
clothes,
but it
right?
is.
If he went through a
Sorry?
storm, he could be given new clothes, and so maybe
Yeah.
they're not his,
Yeah.
but maybe
Yeah.
he comes from
Yes.
there. I mean,
Yeah, I think so because
Yeah.
he looks very rugged. So I think this is
Yeah, I
they
don't think
found
he's
him.
like a native. Yeah.
yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We should
I'm
keep
not sure about that
our
one.
options open.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think
But I
this
think
is Numenor.
99% he is from Middle Earth because that's how he gets greeted to everyone in that seed.
Yeah.
So
I do hope.
Do we see village back?
Okay.
Could be. I don't know.
Yeah,
It would be
oh,
weird.
that's right. Those connections with him and Calanarthon or whatever it's called at that point. Horseland.
Yeah. You were thinking connections to that because the picture we see of him in armor, right?
Right.
Which looks very Rohan-like. Yeah, but that's actually Numenorean armor for some reason. It looks very Rohan-like, but that's Numenorean cavalry kind of thing.
Okay.
I wonder if there is a plot point in there for the future, which is he brings it to Middle-earth, and that's why Bernard Hill has looks the way he does many years later. I wonder, but we really don't know.
Yeah.
People have been making interesting parallels, saying, "Oh, he's the Aragon of the show." Because I remember when
I was
Hobbit
going to
came
say
out,
that,
yeah, people kept saying, "Oh, look, we have Thorin. He's the Aragon of the show." So it seems like everything Middle-earth from like the rest of our
That's
time.
what Hen does all the time, by the way.
No, it's not true at all. If
Of
there's
course
a
it's
bard
true.
if
This
there's
is the fam Frodo. This is the fam Sam. You've done
that's
this countless times.
That's sure. But in terms of Thorin being an Aragorn figure, Bard is much more closer to Aragorn than Thorin is.
But once
Is
average
he?
fans see a poster with a sword and stuff, no one's gonna look too far into it. He's the main action star, whatever.
Yeah, but I do wonder if this guy, if Halbrand, is the kind of Aragorn proxy in the same way that Arondir is kind of the Legolas one, that sort of thing.
Although I would have expected Isildur to take that role eventually.
Yeah, but Isildur is more flawed, so he would be again closer to a Boromir, a Thorin, that sort of thing. Maybe I don't know.
That's good, but maybe a Faramir.
Wow.
Unless he ends up evil, that could be the worst call of them all. I was going to say that
it looks like.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to make a silly comment, so go ahead.
I was just going to do the shape behind him. I mean, it feels Numenorean to me. Not the shape itself.
Absolutely.
But yeah, the whiter look of it and everything. It really does feel like because we've seen so little of Numenor. And,
but we did see the blue. So
yeah.
Yeah, I think it is Numenor. I also think he's toasting with what looks like 3 other people. I think Isildur is supposed to have like 3 buddies with him, and I think he like bonds with those. So yeah.
Yep.
It would make sense for them not to be just
looks like someone
people.
who's not German.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, but indeed.
Yeah.
Let's see the next one. There we go. Here is the one people have probably been waiting for as well. I think
not the same
start
lamp.
Doing some where's one?
Different lamp.
Not the same lamp.
That's not the same lamp as the Celebrimbor
these
one.
Background.
It was round,
not
right?
really the same either.
The other one was like
the other one was very round. Yes.
Yeah.
I think that the place that we see Celebrimbor and Elrond possibly is not Lindon, because Lindon, as we see here and in other pictures, has a very Lothlorien, Rivendell kind of inside-outside, very wooden, lots of forest around. The other place was much more bricks and libraries and, So yeah, now we can get into who's who, I think.
I have a few impressions of this place, if I may. I love the birch trees. I think Tolkien mentioned them quite a lot. I love seeing them. I'm absolutely not a fan of the lamps. They remind me very much of Elden Root in Elder Scrolls Online, which is not an aesthetic that I'm partial to. I think they're much too kitschy. But yeah, I just had to get it out of my system.
I get the point, but somehow I don't mind it. I get your point, though. I see it.
Yeah, I could see the specifics. My comment earlier was just that all of the lamps feel very thoughtful, like each one that's been made. But yeah, this specific collection, I could see. I could take it or leave it. Sure.
Sure. And the veils are weird.
Yeah, Celebrimbor does look much better in this one, starting off. And I really thought this is Galadriel. I don't think this is Galadriel anymore.
No.
Because of black hair. Interesting. We have, as I tweeted earlier today, Benjamin Walker's Gil-galad always looking very angry, no matter where he is. And then we have the reason why he's angry, because look who's in his line. Well, no, technically his line, he's much shorter.
Exactly, dwarves. Ew.
Look at his plate compared to others. Look at it. He finished, and they've barely started.
That's how we do.
Food on the plates.
Yeah.
Jews don't leave food. Dwarves.
Okay, I have another comment regarding this image, and that's and we've seen that in the aerial shot of Lindon in the trailer too. I'm really not a fan of the veiled elven women.
Yeah, it's weird.
Don't really understand why that's the case. I don't know. I'm absolutely not a fan of that.
They're veiled, but they don't have sleeves.
Yeah.
Weird choice, yeah.
It's a really weird combination, and I'm absolutely not a fan.
It's part, I guess, of the same kind of very pre-Raphaelite kind of imagery. You will often see veils in those kinds of paintings. It's very storybook, yeah.
Yeah, but no thanks.
Yeah, I get it. It's weird.
I think the central mystery of this image is who is the person between Celebrimbor and Elrond.
Yeah, right there.
I agree. I would hate to think.
No, it's Sofia non-Vete. Oh my gosh.
Is it?
Oh.
I think it's absolutely her. Now that you've scrolled in that much, I think the eye and the eyebrow.
But so I like the Tarmiriel question too. That was brought up on the Twitter page. Because one of the thoughts I had was
that is true.
I was looking it up in Unfinished Tales right after that, because Aldarion, right? He comes over and is like the liaison, even though his dad doesn't even know it. And since they're not gonna, I don't think they're gonna have him in here because of where they are. I wonder if she's kind of filling that role of Gil-galad, like he's serious. You know, the letter is like, I need men to help me figure this out and to fight this war. And I wonder if she's gonna be the liaison that kind of fills that, kind of like how that scene in the Two Towers
amalgamation,
where Treebeard does the Tom Bombadil line. It's like, hey, we'll have her step in and do this little role where men finally come back to Middle Earth and help.
I didn't think of that. Well, yeah, it makes sense if you have a lot of characters or a lot of generations of characters to amalgamate them, to have one character do the function of 3 or 4 or 5.
It's a shame because it's one of the biggest chunks of Second Age. I know that they probably don't have full access to it, but it's one of the biggest things we get from the Second Age, and they're going to skip right over it because of where they're focusing this timeline. And so it would be interesting if they incorporated the essence of that, the point of that whole story into this. So
that's true. Can you zoom out just once more? Yeah, because she does seem the same height as Celebrimbor and Elrond. How high is Durin sitting? Yeah, she does seem a little bit.
Okay,
Durin isn't that much lower though. Not much.
No,
I think
he's sitting on some pillows.
Is it possible? If not,
Nosy Parker says in the chat this might be Gil-galad's wife.
That would open up a whole big can of worms, which is like, if he has a wife, why isn't no heir? You know, like that would be really weird. And we haven't any knowledge of a character like that too, so you know.
Yeah.
What I'm gonna do is, while you guys speak, I'll try to get the cursor in line as where his head would be for Sophia.
But he's also closer to camera.
Yeah, it looks a little high or low. Like she looks high. The other thing is placement. I mean, I feel like if this guest, if you're bringing him from Khazad Dûm, I imagine you'd place the ruler or the prince with his wife, not down the table. Same thing with if it's Gil-galad's wife.
No, in the middle.
She'd be next to him.
But it does seem like everybody's looking at her.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe she's
maybe because it's Moria.
How is travel going to work in this? Because it's like there's like, I mean, they're going really far because you've got Elrond all the way in Khazad-dûm, and then you've got the leader of Khazad-dûm coming all the way to Lindon. So it seems like they're going to be very casual about bringing people back and forth.
And
that's actually a good point.
Coming from wherever.
That's a good point, which is like if we see Celebrimbor summoned to Lindon from Region, will we see him there in the next scene, or will they like let an episode almost play out and then Celebrimbor arrives? You know, like will they do like traveling? Will they use it as a ploy for traveling montages? That's very, very I didn't think of that.
Nosy Parker in the chat keeps repeating, "It's not Muriel." So
very possible.
Yeah, I don't actually necessarily see it being Muriel. I don't know why.
Yeah, I more brought it up as a thought for in general, even if it's not her. I could see that connection point, but it's just, I had wondered up until now. I couldn't see any way to get that major story into a second age story, which seemed like a waste, a shame of a resource.
I really, really hope. I would hate it. The thought of one of these guys whose back is to us being like a Celeborn or something.
No,
I think it is because they
at
don't
least
look
two
like...
of these. No, I think at least two of these are extras. That's what I've been told.
Yeah. That's also. I think that's very important to bear in mind, which is like in the Council of Elrond, there's a lot of people that we don't like. They're just extras, really, and I think the same could be the case here too.
But I don't think it's very, very common that they would place all the important characters on the same side of the table. I think it's much more dynamic if camera pans out from one side to the other. So I would think that they would put at least one character, like, showing their back to us on this image. So I would think at least one of these is important. I would guess the one in the middle, but I have no idea who they might be.
Ibi Ali has said on chat, also the man on the left and the woman in the middle are both the tallest characters at the table and have similar clothes. So I think they are both Numenorean. So man on the left.
I don't know really.
Which
looks
somebody
like
else
Elrond
and
looks like
the head Gil on the misty woman looks like the poster with the flower, which I thought was Muriel as well. Venia said. And Celeborn said, in the original, who's not in this photo, in the original Lindon shot from the trailer, there's a woman in the same garb as the woman here that is standing beside Gadriel.
I mentioned that,
I'll screenshot that, and once we finish that, I'll go to that scene, because we have that scene. And
I think I have one more. We were talking about this very shortly ago, which is this particular shot. I mentioned that some of these look a lot like Rivendell. This one looks a lot like Lorien. And the issue with making Lindon look a lot like Lorien is that then you will look back on the Fellowship of the Ring and like, oh, it's another Lindon. Like it risks taking away. It's like alien desert planets in science fiction movies. They were cool in 1977 or something, but now they're a dime a dozen. And I think that you can do the same to like Elven forests and stuff if you keep repeating the same visual too many times. So yeah,
I agree with that. But there are so many Elven realms that are situated in forests with Tolkien. I would much rather see Lindon be obviously situated in the woods, but not necessarily be a woodland realm per se. I still want to see Elven cities. I know we're going to see Ostinathiel at some point, but I would much prefer it if in Lindon we also got a more standard city than, for example, Lothlorien is.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, because when push comes to shove, I don't think there's a ton of details on Lindon architecture. And usually elves go underground or they live in the trees, right? And there is a repetitiveness to their lifestyle, the way that they live like that. So I wonder if when you finally have to come up with something,
both of those, not to get too nerdy on this, but both of those are usually defensive things that are done in areas that are in war, or like kind of like frontier lands. This is supposed to be like, the elves in their prime and times of peace. But really, it's just more the repetitiveness of making Lorien seem a lot less special and more like it's.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Yeah. Are we out of images?
No, he just wants to compare to this.
Oh, sorry.
So
that's obviously the same image as the woman. Yeah. There are people in veils all around.
Oh,
all around. Look at them all around. They're everywhere.
What veil? Yeah.
There is even one next to Gil-galad.
Yeah, I think that might be his wife actually, if he does in fact have a wife.
Yeah.
And I have to I have to disagree with probably most of the.
I don't know.
Do the veil women have swords too? It almost looked like, or was it just a belt?
No, I don't know. Ooh, I don't know.
I just wanted to say that I'm actually not opposed to the idea of Gil-galad having a wife. It doesn't necessarily have to cause problems for matters like inheritance, etc. I mean, there is a pretty big war coming. I think it would be a little bit more odd if he didn't have one, actually. So
Thorin doesn't have a wife.
Yeah, well, he's a dwarf. Nobody likes dwarves.
Or the Hobbit.
Anti-Semites.
No, I like a good, I really like the fact that Bilbo and Frodo are both singletons, and I really appreciate it. But I think in the Elven culture, obviously it can take a while to find a partner. But as far as I remember, the elves usually found their mates pretty early on in life, and they often got married when they were still pretty young. So I think the fact that we don't know a lot about Tolkien, a lot about Tolkien's. We don't know a lot of details about Gil-galad as it is, and of course, just Tolkien not having mentioned his wife doesn't necessarily mean that he didn't have one. I don't think we had a lot of mention of Elendil's wife, and assumably, like Isildur came from somewhere, and I think this show will, of course, Corrine, and Anarion, and I think what this show will do it'll flesh out those relationships as well. It will flesh out people who are close to our heroes, to our characters that we know. So I wouldn't be too surprised if Gil-galad would be getting a queen, because I think that this lady that's standing next to him, it looks like she has some sort of
a crown.
Crown as well, or
under the veil,
under the veil.
It almost looked like there's a veil pulled back over a crown or something, but it definitely is something golden in there.
Yeah, although there's a lot of gold in these scenes in general,
it's true.
A lot. So,
everywhere.
Steve Sadler says in the chat, no, Priscilla TV, I'm so sorry. Gil is gay for Anatar. Everybody's gay for Anatar. That's just a fact. So.
By the way, in this picture, it's very difficult to see, but through the leaves, you can tell that there is a structure in the back of the shot. To the far right. Very, very difficult to tell, but it's a very wooden structure in the style of Rivendell. We also see it in one of the Vanity Fair shows.
Yeah, I was wondering if maybe the outdoor dinner scene is like a special thing, right? Like we're going to go eat outside in the middle versus we only live outside.
I think it's a very indoors-outdoors feeling kind of place. Like Rivendell is often that area.
Yeah. Lothlorien too, sort of which is warrants your concern there, but.
Yeah. Awesome.
Cool. So.
I think you might be muted again.
Indeed, I was. We really. Okay. So for everyone in chat, before, because we've gone through all the images now, so what we're going to do is, for one point, tell us which one you guys would like us to go through. So to go through it again, I'll show them all.
Oh, good.
It should be this one. So we have so yeah, start putting in chat which ones you guys want to see, and we'll try and put everyone which one looks most. Someone say Gil-galad. I'm interesting. Oh my god. So which one?
Coronation.
Let's see. The coronation. We've got the first
one. See coronation and the banquet.
Okay. So there's only two people want to see Connie.
Please not Hobbit.
We'll see a couple more in. But actually, I love this is your favorite.
Oh. Hard to say. I think I like the banquet one the most, I think.
It's really difficult to say, actually.
You know,
and the
mine's
Lindon
the Elrond one.
I think
I don't know.
So there's so many beautiful images in here, but Owain Arthur and I forget her first name, Numvet, right?
Sophia.
Sophia, yeah.
Sophia Numvet. The kind of the spark there is so encouraging because I think we're so used to bumbling dwarves, deserted dwarven mansions, and so to bring Khazad-dûm to life, you need it to be not just filled with light, but filled with. I mean, the description Gimli gives is the dwarves were very lively. And so I'm excited to see what that looks like in the long term, how they lead a vibrant version of Khazad-dûm. That picture just gets me excited.
Okay. I like the Lindon ones. I can decide which one.
It's like. So from chat, it looks like everybody wants to go and see the Hobbit. So we'll get that one up on the screen. It looks like the most requested one. So let's have a look back at this.
Oh, thank you.
It's like coronation.
Can I just say, Walrus92 says in the chat, why are they not introducing Celeborn or Celebrian? I think they might be introducing them perhaps for a couple of scenes, or they could be saving them for later seasons. I think that's the most likely answer. So Galadriel is going to be gallivanting across Middle-earth and Numenor this season. So, they might mention that she's married and that she has a daughter, but not introduce us to those two characters immediately. And that's something quite common in TV shows as well. So,
Indeed.
When is Celebrimbor born again? I'm trying to remember.
I think sometime in early Second Age.
Okay, so she'll be young.
Yeah, she'd be a few centuries old at this point, but with the time compression.
Yeah.
I think she was born by Lake Evendim, if I'm not mistaken.
That's
so
right.
while Galadriel was there.
I like this because this is one of the ones that I was mulling over for a favorite, so I'm glad this was the one that got picked. I will say I like again the imagery, the armor and stuff. A couple of them have this weird situation where not the greaves, what's the name of it? I think the cuisse, the part that protects the thigh. I think it's called a cuisse. Is pointing down while they're sitting. You see what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, on the right there.
It's weird. Yeah, that's a little peculiar. Otherwise, I think it looks very nice. And the helmets are very interesting because the armor is obviously quite different, but the helmets have the fan shape that we remember from the prologue to the Fellowship of the Ring. I know Weta they like that. They're really proud of that, so they try to replicate it in a different design, maybe. But the helmets are very similar. The armor isn't, but the helmets are.
I didn't think until just now too that they're holding their helmets, and are they all wearing the same wreath?
Yeah, they are. I was gonna ask about that. What is actually happening here? Have they been on like a really successful mission and they're being acknowledged like by
maybe
the ruler?
They're before the mission. I don't know.
But would they be celebrated
them getting
before
crowned
the
to go
mission?
west?
Yeah, that's sort of my thinking. Yeah, before.
Yeah, that's also very likely. But
although it's funny, yeah.
I think they have distinguished themselves in some way.
I think we already have the answer.
That's the funny thing. That's the funny thing about I always chuckle at stuff like this because let's sail west in very totally sinkable heavy suits of armor. That always works.
But I'm like, they're wearing armor. They're armed as well, and him placing the crowns or the wreaths on their head, it makes it seem as though they've already done something to distinguish themselves. So I'm wondering.
Did you miss the Second Age show where we talked about this?
You were there. I saw you there.
Yes, but I'm saying that
they're getting crowned to go west.
Yes, I know, but I'm saying.
Edition.
I'm saying I think there's a reason for that. So I think they've already done something been on some sort of mission,
succeeded.
I agree. And now he's, maybe rewarding them by allowing them to sail west. I don't know. I'm making this up as I go.
I agree.
But I don't think this is like the first time that we'll see all these characters together. I think they've already done something successful.
Maybe gone to the forward wife, which we see. Oh no, I agree.
Or not successful, and that's why they're going west. That could be an alternate take.
Yeah.
No idea. But we do know that Galadriel is a commander of an army, so presumably this is like her top res or something.
It's interesting to me.
What it'd be like.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna quickly say that.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say it'd be cool to see what Galadriel would be like looking at Gil-galad right now. It'd be interesting to see that shot.
Yeah, the leaves. The only thing that's bugging me about the leaves is like I can't think of any precedents in Tolkien or historically of kings using like the same crown as their own to do anything. It looks like they're all wearing the same thing.
That's true. I didn't think of that.
It's kind of odd. Yeah, but maybe it's just because we can't tell in the shot. Maybe his are taller and longer. These seem to curve around a little more.
They're quite flimsy. They look quite flimsy as well. So yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
No, I mean because they're reeves, not crowns. But yeah, sure. Yeah, I still like. I think this is one of the best ones. It's kind of they fall into different categories, so it's kind of like comparing apples with like this is another one of my favorites, but it's totally different. It's a landscape shot.
And just speaking of the previous shot, I just wanted to point out that a little while ago, Kyle made a beautiful ambience video of that Lindon scene from the trailer. So it's like a 2-hour something loop. So you can just, put it in the background while you're studying, while you're working. It's super relaxing. I highly recommend it. It's on our channel.
Cool.
Awesome.
Indeed.
This would be a good one too for a kind of ambience. It's a very nice view.
But I think that's just about. I think we've gone through basically every vote. I think we'll leave it on this one. Maybe this would be a nice one to leave it on. So if you guys want to let us know in chat what your favorite one is out of all these, if you even have a favorite one. But I think do you think guys we've covered all of them well? Think we've gone through them all?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Cool. So, great. So yeah, I think it's been really fun doing this. Thank you, Jaron, for coming on for the first time. Hopefully it's not the last time. Really glad you've been on today.
Yeah, it's been fun being here. Thanks.
Of course, thank you to Hen.
Oh, yeah, I love doing this. Really, there is no need for thanks, but thank you.
Yeah, take a compliment once in a while. And thank you, Lakitia.
Hey, thanks for having me. And Jaron, it's been a blast. So I'm really excited for you coming back as soon as possible.
Thanks. It's been a lot of fun. I like I said, a lot of the times I'm writing all by myself. It's fun to have people that respond to things. It's great. I love it.
Indeed. So yeah, thank you guys for watching.
Thanks to everybody in the chat. I hope you had a good time.
Indeed. And hopefully, if there's a trailer, I know we will be in Oslo, but there's a trailer tomorrow. No, I'm not sure. We've reported the next week or weeks, but it'd be interesting to see. So if there is, we'll be live tomorrow for that, but we'll be live for Council of Fans anyways when we'll be doing that showrunner reaction thing. So yeah. Look forward to that, where we get to talk about our discussions with the showrunners, in fact. So yeah, thank you guys. Really appreciate it. Goodbye.
See you. Bye.